Right then, welcome back to the channel. This is 5 things that we learned watching Manchester United beat Steaua Bucharest and finish the Europa League group league stage with a bit of a bang, coming third. I want to start with Kobby Mainoo. So Kobby Mainoo played in the 10. I thought he was sensational. He looked right at home in that area. He got a goal and assist. And I think it's a position in this team, especially, that suits his kind of natural tendencies. I think if he was played deeper as one of the two in the pivot, it's asking him to cover quite a lot. It's asking him to do a lot more defending than I think his natural game suits. I don't think he has like natural tenacity. I think he's quite a languid player, kind of by nature. And I actually think that some of the better qualities of him, they come in tight areas. I think that's a sort of symptom or a kind of consequence of his futsal upbringing. I think he works real nice with close control, body feints, touches, in and around tight areas. You're not in a tight area in that pivot, so you don't get to show off your better skill set and range of skill set that you've got. I think it's better deployed around the box. I think that's when you see the best of Kobby Mainoo. I think he's got fantastic attacking instincts in those tight areas, and I think he's got a high level of control in those areas. Now, I think if you play him in a midfield 3, he can play as an 8. I think in this system, it's not really an 8. It's almost like a pair of defensive-minded 6s because they're asked to kind of do a lot of defending and very little playmaking and certainly very little kind of attacking output. So it suits Ugarte fantastically. I'm a little bit on the fence with whether it suits Collier. I think there's still a lot of figuring out to be done there. But I actually think it suits Bruno Fernandes and his natural tenacity more than it suits Mainoo to be played. And we've been talking about that now for maybe a month or so, about maybe switch them around. And they've done it. And I think to a pretty good success. I think still Bruno has got to change and improve certain areas of his game, but I think just as like a broad kind of statement, I think it does suit Bruno to play that little bit deeper and Mainoo a little bit higher. Or, as I mentioned last night, you maybe might start to see Amorim's 3-4-3 evolve into almost like more of a 3-5-2 almost, where there's maybe Bruno and Mainoo share responsibilities for certain things and kind of dovetail in with each other a little bit. But that fluidity can only come once you've got the full understanding of the system. But I thought it was fantastic. Probably going to be his confirmed position. His best work absolutely comes in the final third. So it was real nice for him to see. It's not been a great season for Kobby after what was a great season last season. But yeah, it was nice for him to turn a corner. Let's see if he can continue that with more regular appearances in that position where he's going to be dangerous and be providing goals and assists in that area. Have you ever landed in a new country, excited to explore, only to see that your phone has got no service? You're navigating unfamiliar streets, trying to stay in touch with loved ones, or even if you're just trying to check the internet, it becomes a struggle. And that's where Saily, the sponsor of today's video, comes in. Saily is a really innovative eSIM service that is designed to keep you connected wherever you go. You just install a single eSIM and you can access affordable data plans in over 180 countries and 8 different regions. No more long lines at airports, no overpriced local SIM cards or dodgy, risky public Wi-Fis. It's very easy to use. Just download the Saily app, select the plan that fits your travel needs, activate it before your trip, and whether you're visiting one country or traveling through an entire region, it has got you covered. Even if you're not traveling just yet, if you're planning ahead with Saily, it ensures that you'll be ready for the moment that you arrive. And if your phone isn't compatible with eSIM technology, it's not a problem. Saily offers a full refund. Plus, their 24/7 customer support is there to help whenever you need it. Right now, you can save 15% on your Saily plan. Use my code Howson, that's Howson, or just visit saily.com/Howson to grab your discount. With Saily, staying connected has never been this simple, affordable, or reliable. Download the app today and make your next trip seamless. Second, wingbacks can't be fullbacks. Now, hopefully Dorgu gets sorted out like today, tomorrow. There's not a lot of time left. But we are beyond stale when we play fullbacks in the wingback area. They just don't have that attacking output. Dorgu can't arrive soon enough. Ahmad looks better. We look better when Ahmad plays in that area. Mazraoui, I thought he's a very reliable player. He looked better at right centre back than he has done as a right wing back at times. Wing backs in this system, because again, going back to what we just said about the two pivots, they're defensive minded. And with the back three, that gives you 5 defensive minded and 5 offensive minded, which means the wing backs have to be offensive minded. Those wing backs offer such an attacking threat that it keeps defenses honest in the opposition. It drags wingers out of position. It makes people uncomfortable. It allows you to overload certain areas. When those are attacking-minded players like Ahmad and hopefully like Dorgu soon, that puts opposition on the back foot. We can be braver. We can have more attacking players in more attacking areas. When it's fullbacks, they're a fullback for a reason. They don't have the attacking impetus, nature, instincts, skill to be able to put opposition defenses under pressure in the same way. So that they can't be playing fullbacks as wingbacks. It's just not going to work for us. Attacking wingbacks change the game for Manchester United, and that's an area that we have to kind of persist with. I'm sure that's going to be the case. If it's Dorgu and Ahmad lining up, I think we're in a better position than when it's Delo and Mazraoui. Number 3, Fluidity. So there was rotations last night, second half. First half, do you know what? First half they just weren't coming off because we saw Christian Eriksen getting into quite advanced areas, and that doesn't happen if you haven't got fluidity. So, no, there was fluidity throughout the game. It just lacked the cutting edge. The cutting edge came later, probably more so in the second half. And I did touch on this last night. We went one touch. After we scored, that could be a confidence thing. Going one touch, if you're going one touch, it encourages a lot of movement. You can't really play one touch without the movement. Does that mean Amorim has released the shackles a little bit? Does that mean the players have grown into it with a bit more confidence? We've started to shake a little bit of the rigidity that's existed. That's good to see. We've got to continue that because you have to unsettle teams. You have to play with risk. The only way you make a chance is taking a chance. People understand our shape. We're quite easy to scout. Rotations, one-touch play, movement off and ahead of the ball. That's how you become less predictable, and that's how you create openings. That's what's got to happen. That will happen with, again, going back to all of these 5 things. They're all linked. You put Mainoo in areas where he can affect the game because he can go past someone 1v1. And when you've got players that can win a 1v1 battle with the ball, like Ahmad can, like Mainoo can, then you've start to be able to unlock defenses. When you can't beat your man, opposition just have to mark you. You're very easy to play against. You've got to be unpredictable. You've got to have players that can go past a man. You've got to have players that can drop a shoulder, send a defender the wrong way, find a 1-2. Now you've took 2 players out of the game. Fantastic. Then you start getting shots, you get chances, you get goals. It's a simple game. Number 4. Strong cameo from Garnacho. Reacted well in the last couple of games. Hasn't sulked, which he could have easily done. He may be on the way out of Old Trafford, but I think his attitude amidst the transfer has been fine. He always tries. We talk about him having the memory of a goldfish. He doesn't care if he makes a mistake. He's got the confidence to be able to just keep taking the ball, and it's a great bravery to have in a player. He's learning to trust his teammates more. He is trying to pass more. His decision making is improving. I think he's got a hell of a long way to go before I would trust him to be a permanent starter, but you can see that there has been improvements in recent times. Got an assist, was beating his defender for fun. Wasn't enough end product, I thought, but he did get an assist, so you can't say there was no end product. He's got to replicate that in the Premier League, but that was an encouraging little cameo, I thought, from him. And finally, Hojlund needs a timeout. He needs less pressure games, more cameo appearances. He's got to rebuild his confidence. He might even have to rebuild his game because he can't seem to do much right. Yes, he did create a chance for Mainoo, which a lot of people wanted to tell me about in the comments last night. But it's not enough. Like, you can't point to he made one chance and think that now justifies selection and justifies performances. I've seen some wonderful forward play in the last 35 years of watching Manchester United. I don't know of a worse consistent starter that we've had than Hojlund. Like, there's so many holes in his game. There's so many areas that people talk about, oh, he's not getting the chances. I'm not even talking about his lack of goals. I'm just talking about his general all-round play, from his build-up to his link play, to his battling, to his pressing. He is off it in so many areas. Before we even think about talking about his finishing and that sort of angle of his game, he's got to do so much better. You cannot justify starting him at the moment. And yes, the only other option is Xerxes, who could barely be justified in starting. But this is my point. This Manchester United team is absolutely miles off being good enough to compete. There is a reason we are 12th, and goals is pretty much the reason. Let me know your thoughts on the game. I will be doing a player rating soon. Bit of a pro tip, it will not be a good day for Hojlund. But there might be some sneaky little good performances in there that I haven't touched on in 5 things. So tune in for that a little bit later on, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.